In this video, I'm going to show you how to apply filters under the Google Advanced Search settings to change what kind of results you get. So we'll do a quick search here for tax reform. And we get the 279 million, the typical very large number of results. So I'm going to click on Settings and go to Advanced Search. And now I'm going to scroll down to the Narrow Your Results By. These are the filters that are available in the Advanced Search on Google. And the first thing I might want to do is under Region, I can change this to United States because I'm not really interested in tax reform in other countries for this research. You can also limit it to a date range. So not really a date range, just a couple of date options here. You can look for the past day, the past week, the past month, or the past year. And those are pretty limited, and you're really just looking for when the pages were updated, which could be any part of the page, not necessarily the main topic area. So I'm going to leave that one for now. Under the site or domain, this is where things get really interesting for this kind of research. So let's take a look at what happens when we use the different types of domains in our search. A .com, for example, is a commercial site, a site that is hosted by a server that people pay to be part of. So when I do my tax reform search using sites that end in .com as a criteria, then I'm going to get the kind of resources that will help me understand maybe the tax reform and how to file my taxes. And so that's one purpose you might have for looking up tax reforms. But let's go back and think about some of the other domain types. If you're interested in what the laws are for the tax reform, then you can change .com to .gov. And this is going to find websites that are hosted on government sites. So you're going to be finding things from the IRS, from the Senate, from the Treasury, from agencies that are involved in passing or making or interpreting the laws or applying the laws. And so that's going to be where you're going to find primary documents that explain the actual tax reform. So that can be very helpful. Another thing you might want to do under the advanced search filter, instead of .gov, you might be interested in analysis of the tax reform. And not just from a taxpayer's point of view, but maybe the analysis of how the tax reform affects the overall economy or how it affects certain parts of the population. And these kinds of analyses are often done by educational institutions and organizations. So if we change our site domain to .edu and run this search again, then now we are seeing that we're going to organizations like Georgetown and Brookings and the NAICU and other colleges. And so we'll take a look at this one from Brookings. And it's pretty good. We've got a report. This is actually kind of old, looking here at 1997. And it also has a lot of noise and a lot of other links up here that might distract you as you're starting to do this research. So one other thing that you can do is to go back to your advanced search settings. And instead of just looking for websites that have these criteria, you can also limit it to a file type. Choosing from this drop-down menu, they have a couple of file types that I think are particularly helpful. One is the PDF, and a PDF is typically going to bring back a report style result to you, something that would have been published in the past and may still be published in print somewhere, and so it's not as distracting as a website. There's also a PowerPoint option here, so if you wanted to see a Google Slides type presentation of information, that can be really a helpful thing to find. So I'm going to click on the PDF link this time though and click Advanced Search. I'm sorry, it's not a link, PDF file type, and click Advanced Search. And so now I'm getting only PDFs from EDU sites that are talking about tax reform. And when I click on one of these results, then I have an actual paper that looks like an article or a book that will just make things a lot more streamlined and specific for your research report. And this might be a case now where you might want to try using some of those date limiters to get things that are more current in your results. But again, what we did was we went from our simple tax reform search to the advanced search page, and we started applying some of these filters down here, beginning with our region area, perhaps using the date range if that's helpful, switching out the domain depending on your purpose, .com if you're looking for how the commercial interests are interpreting your topic, .gov if you need to get primary documents from the government agencies, .edu, and perhaps .org for analysis and expert opinions. And then we limited it to PDF style file types. I'm going to take that off for just a minute to go back and show you another way that you can limit some results, and that's in this terms appearing anywhere in the page. You can change that to any part of the web address, like the title or anywhere in the URL. You can also be looking for links to the page. So there's a lot of options under this section too. Title of the page makes it pretty focused on your keywords. So if we find the results, tax reform, in the title of the page that we're searching, it's going to be a lot more focused on what we're looking for as well. So that's another thing you can do to really narrow your results. And depending on what your purpose is, those advanced search filters can really help you get there faster.